I want to start, as I often do, with a few items on communist China. Since I was last here, the world has witnessed more examples of CCP efforts to coerce and control its citizens. Other nations in the U.S. have put out a number of statements. We see it in Hong Kong, where authorities have delayed legislative elections, arrested pro-democracy activists, issued warrants for freedom-loving foreigners, including an American. I urge U.S. citizens to exercise increased caution while traveling to or in any place in China. We see the CCP's continuing ambition to control Muslim minorities in Xinjiang, and I commend the Treasury Department for using its global Magnitsky authorities against human rights violators there just this past week. And we see, too, the CCP's lawlessness elsewhere in the world. I issued a statement on Sunday about the Chinese-flagged vessels' predatory fishing practices around the Galapagos Islands, which has alarmed our friends in Ecuador. Look, these aren't one-offs. As I said at the Nixon Library this month, freedom-loving nations must come together to confront the CCP's aggressive behavior. And the good news is the tide is absolutely turning. The central idea of distrust and then verify, I think the world is coming to see as the right approach to responding to these challenges. And we are working in this administration, the Trump administration, hard to protect Americans from those threats. In April, I announced our team's Clean Path initiative to keep Americans' data safe from untrusted vendors. Today, I'm pleased to announce the expansion of the Clean Network with the launch of 5 new lines of effort. I'll walk through them quickly. First, Clean Carrier. We're working to ensure that untrusted Chinese telecom companies don't provide international telecommunication services between the United States and foreign destinations. I joined Attorney General Barr, Secretary Esper, and Acting Secretary Wolf in urging the FCC to revoke and terminate the authorizations of China Telecom and 3 other companies providing services to and from the United States. Second, we call Clean Store. We want to see untrusted Chinese apps removed from U.S. app stores. President Trump has mentioned impending action on TikTok, and for good reason. With parent companies based in China, apps like TikTok, WeChat, and others are significant threats to personal data of American citizens, not to mention tools for CCP content censorship. Third, Clean Apps. We're working to prevent Huawei and other untrusted vendors from pre-installing or making available for download the most popular U.S. apps. We don't want companies to be complicit in Huawei's human rights abuses or the CCP's surveillance apparatus. Fourth, Clean Cloud. We're protecting Americans' most sensitive personal information and our businesses' most valuable intellectual property, including COVID vaccine research, from being accessed on cloud-based systems run by companies such as Alibaba, Baidu, China Mobile, China Telecom, and Tencent. The State Department will work closely with Commerce and other agencies to limit the ability of Chinese cloud service providers to collect, to store, and to process vast amounts of data and sensitive information here in the United States. Fifth and finally, Clean Cable. We're working to ensure that the CCP can't compromise information carried by the undersea cables that connect our country and others to the global internet. Huawei Marine significantly underbids other companies on multiple procurements to connect Asia, the Pacific, Africa, and Europe using Chinese state-backed undersea technology. We can't allow that to continue. We call on all freedom-loving nations and companies to join the Clean Network. The Trump administration's work to secure our democracy continues in other ways as well. The Department of State's Global Engagement Center is releasing a special report today on Russian disinformation and propaganda, focusing especially on proxy sites. Speaking of Russia and other malign actors, the State Department's Rewards for Justice program is offering a reward of up to $10 million for information leading to the identification or location of any person who, acting at the direction or under the control of a foreign government, interferes with U.S. elections by engaging in certain criminal cyber activities. A few comments on the Middle East. We welcome the agreement between the Republic of Yemen government and the Southern Transitional Council to advance the terms of the Riyadh Agreement, which will pave the way for a unified government that can counter Houthi aggression. We urge all the parties to implement the agreement's terms and support the UN Special Envoy's efforts to broker a countrywide political settlement. Of course, the conflict in Yemen is raged in large part because of the Islamic Republic of Iran's illegal arms transfers to the Houthis. And so, next week, the United States will put forward a resolution in the Security Council to extend the arms embargo on Iran. The Security Council's mission is to maintain international peace and security. The Council would make an absolute mockery of that mission if it allowed the #1 state sponsor of terrorism to buy and sell weapons freely. The United States has conducted now a years-long diplomacy on this matter. We have a bipartisan consensus in Congress. We have a 13-year consensus on the Council. And the proposal we put forward is eminently reasonable. One way or another, we will do the right thing. We will ensure that the arms embargo is extended. And staying on United Nations matters for just a moment, it's outrageous that the Human Rights Council would offer to seat Cuba, a brutal dictatorship that traffics its own doctors under the guise of humanitarian missions. No country should vote Cuba onto the Council.
Can you talk a little bit about the decision to send Secretary Azar to Taiwan, what the message is behind this trip, and as you probably know, the Chinese Communist government says the visit endangers peace and stability, and it's sending the wrong signals and is urging for the trip not to proceed. What is your response to that?
So I won't say anything about the decision other than the cabinet members have traveled to Taiwan previously. This is consistent with policies of previous times. He's going there with a deep and important purpose. We're still in a global pandemic. He's going to go there and talk about Taiwan has had some significant success in how they've handled this. We have wanted them to be part of the conversations at the World Health Assembly that China has prevented that from happening. And so he'll go there and talk to them about public health issues as they relate to how we all move forward with respect to how we handle COVID and the opportunity for therapeutics and a vaccine has moved forward. And we welcome the expertise that Taiwan brings to that and have, I think, important conversations with them about that.